I'm Leo Walder for Kit Guru. This budget PC case here is Fractal Design Focus G. There will also be a Focus G Mini coming along quite soon, which will be micro ATX. Both cases priced at the same amount of money, which is $50 US. Here in the UK, £48 including VAT. At launch, the Focus G, the ATX version I have here, is going to come in black or white. You'll note it has a large window. There will be other colours coming later, I don't know how much later, which will be petrol blue, mystic red, gunmetal grey. And truth be told, those three colours sound a damn sight more interesting than black or white. But such is life. Given I had the choice of black or white, I'm happy I went with white. Except it's not actually quite white. The front is black. It's a conventional case in the Fractal Design sense because it has an open structure, so no power supply cover, so you can see the Seasonic Prime titanium in all its glory. It has a couple of optical drive bays which will suit the traditionalists among you, and other than that the spec is fairly conventional. You've got a little fixed drive tower down the front which has two sliding plastic caddies for 2.5, 3.5 inch drives. I've installed the SSD there. You will note that there is just no clearance whatsoever between the power supply and the ATX motherboard I've used, which is an Asus Strix Z270F Gaming. The CPU I've chosen is a Core i7, and the gorgeous memory is G.Skill Trident Z RGB. Which is just doing some good work in there and giving it some illumination. Now, to be absolutely crystal clear about lighting, the front two case fans, which are Fractal Design Silent Series LL fans, they have white LEDs, so some of the illumination you can see is coming from those front fans. However, I've also added in two strips of white LEDs, which are dark side. They were supplied by Mayhems, which are they're along the bottom and the back, and they are giving you most of the illumination. If I didn't do it, it'd just be like a black hole, you see barely nothing. So you do get some illumination, but not a lot. Now, in terms of cooling and such, like if you're going for an air cooler, you're fine. Slap in an air cooler, job done. The graphics card is a reference GTX 1080. That fits in with no trouble whatsoever. In terms of CPU cooling, you're fine. But if you want to go liquid cooling, you have to start being a little bit more choosy. So you can put a 240 or 280 radiator in the front. You can put a 240 in the roof if you're using fans, 120, 140s front and top without any particular difficulty. The thing is that I've used Fractal's own Celsius S24 240ml liquid cooler. I recently reviewed it in a standalone review. That's in the roof of the case. It is really close for comfort. It does go in, so I can't argue with them saying you can put a 240 liquid cooler in the roof. And the Celsius, as far as I can see, is a conventional Ace-Tech cooler in terms of thickness. But with the cooler installed, the optical drive bay is really tight, and that's a fixed bay. It's riveted in place, so you can't remove it to give yourself more clearance. I don't see any option for installing a rear case fan. Basically, the hardware I've gone for is the hardware you're going to get. It works perfectly fine, but it really was squeaky tight. On the other hand, had I gone for a front liquid cooler, I'd obviously have to displace those two illuminated fans. And when you're paying less than 50 quid for a case, if someone gives you two illuminated fans, you're not going to throw them away. That makes no sense. So my guess is you're going to instead move those fans to the roof of the case, which is absolutely fine, and then put your liquid cooler in the front, which would make a certain amount of sense. I just went with the easy option, put it in the roof. So that would be an option. When you receive the case, the top is actually sealed off with these two sort of plastic mesh, or not sealed, it's closed off, but these act as sort of filters. A little bit surprised by this. They screw in place, and I've removed them, as you can see, and simply left the top open. Perhaps with hindsight I should have reinstalled them, not too sure. I would much rather have simply seen a magnetic dust filter to go across the top. I don't quite understand that. The front of the case pops off easily. That also has some sort of foam on the inside of the mesh, but it's got those little metal tags holding it in place that are folded over. So to clean that off, yeah, I'm sure you can run it under water and wash away a certain amount of dust, but it's not as straightforward as simply pull out a filter, clean it and put it back. So on the one hand, Fractal has filtered the case. On the other hand, it's not as easy as it might be to clean the filters. And that's, of course, the sort of problem you face when you're buying a really cheap case. So I can see what Fractal has done. I'm not massively impressed with that aspect of things. It's not the end of the world. If you want to have more not luxury, more facility to clean filters easily and such. Like, you spend a bit more on the case and then you get slide out filters you can wash and put back in, and everything's happy. And that is actually more or less the end of things. Building the PC was straightforward. I wasn't best impressed by cable management. There are no grommets on the holes, for example. There's a certain amount of sort of space there where you have to shove cables in the bottom of the drive bays, but if it appears in this section here, you can see it. The cabling from the two front fans is just hanging in free space, and there's just nothing I could do about it. I could have sort of literally used sticky tape to stick it out of sight, but it's just not a case that's designed to look absolutely immaculate, which is a shame because the window is so large, you're going to see the innards, therefore it deserves to look reasonably pretty. On the subject of the window, it's basic. It's one of those windows, it feels like if I dragged my fingernail across it, I'd scratch it instantly. In fact, when I peeled off the anti-static plastic, it immediately just attracted dust in that way that these things do. And I didn't dare clean it off with alcohol because I had that feeling, just a feeling that if I did, it would go milky white. Could be wrong, but when you get soft plastic like that, you don't want to tamper with it just in case you ruin it, and having a window that is just opaque would be terrible for a review. So that's the reason it looks so dusty. Perhaps I could have done something. I did try wiping it and the dust just stuck. As static goes, this is the king of static windows. But overall, Focus G is a decent little case. We have recently on KitGuru seen various other cases from like say Game Max and such like. The market for £40 and £50 cases is alive and kicking. You can get some really good hardware at those prices. This Focus G, it comes in, is competitive. It shows that Fractal's not only intent on selling at the upper or the mid range of the market, in fairness to Fractal, they're happy to go down lower as well and cater to the budget brigade, and that's welcome. I like it. The build is good, my list of complaints is not long, it's built to a price and that's all there is to it, but the result is perfectly acceptable. If you want to see more from KitGuru, do head to the website. We've got plenty of photos of this case there before I did the build, so you can see exactly what's going on inside. If you like this video, thumbs up. If you don't, thumbs down. If you want more from KitGuru, click to subscribe. I'm Leo Wardett for KitGuru. This is Fractal Design Focus G.